Hi guys, welcome back. It's Mrs. Peterson, that lady who teaches art, and today we're going to talk about how to mix your greens for your color wheel. So you have your same paper plate from last time. Your orange and red from last time should be dry. I just did this like a couple of minutes ago, so mine is not. I'm going to really avoid that, but yours should be dry, so it shouldn't be a problem. Today we have yellow and we have blue. And like always, we're going to start with our lighter color and mix a little bit of our darker color into it. So I'm going to take my brush. The blue is definitely darker. I'm just going to get a little bit on the tip of my brush, and I'm going to mix it into my yellow. And now for me, I need to make sure that I very much avoid all the orange because mine's wet. Yours is dry, so you should be good. And I'm just going to make a very light green, a yellow green from this color. This is usually the one that takes the most mixing. Well, they all kind of take a lot of mixing. I put way too much paint on my plate, so that's part of the problem. Okay, now my brush is super loaded. I'm going to wipe some of that off before I go try to paint on my yellow green. Come over to my yellow green and paint super carefully. Oh, I see that my brush has some blue up in it, so I'm going to wipe some of that out. Come back for some of this lighter, light yellow-green paint. And feel free, as we've said, to mix or to twist your paper around. Because I didn't, I just smeared onto my shape a little bit. And before you move on, you want to make sure, does that look yellow-green or is it too dark? Mine is pretty close to regular green, so I think I'm going to take a little bit of my just plain yellow right on top and mix that in. Now, this is the risk of doing that, you guys. You want that whole thing to be the same color, and we don't want to get too smudgy and smeary outside of our shape. Got to come back and work that in very carefully if you got too dark like I did. My brush had too much blue on it. Okay, so then I'm going to come back to my paint. I'm going to take another scoop of my blue, and I'm going to put it right into my green and try to just make a regular green. If you're not sure if you've done it yet, you want to look at the color wheel in the room and see if it matches. Now, hopefully you guys have a lot less paint to try to mix up. I've got like a bunch of color going on here. I put too much paint on my plate. You're going to mix until you get green. And then your brush is going to be way too loaded, so get some of that off there so you don't have too much to deal with. And then you're going to come back to your painting and paint your square. Paint carefully. Twist your paper as needed. Okay, and when you're done with regular green, then we're going to make our blue green. So I'm going to take my blue, mix it into my green. For you guys, you might, since I'm going to hopefully give you a lot less paint, you might get all of your paint all mixed up. I have too much on my brush, so I'm going to wipe off the extra. And I'm going to come back to my last triangle. Make sure you're in the blue-green triangle. And I'm going to paint this on very carefully. So the most important thing is that you're matching the shades, making sure that they're getting darker every single time, that you can tell that the shades match. Then I'm going to be looking at, did you get the whole shape covered with the same shade? And then the last point I'm going to be looking at is, did you paint neatly? All right. When you're done, pump soap in your hand, scrub the brush into your hand over the sink, spread the bristles out under the water until this is running completely clear. Wash your hands. Bring the dripping wet brush back to me. You'll paint it right on my arm, and then that's how I'll know the brush is clean. And your painting goes on the drying rack before we leave the room. All right, you guys, I can't wait to see what you create.